Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's episode of the Author Collaborative. We couldn't do the episode the last Friday, and I'm so glad that this Friday I'm back with another episode and a new guest. My guest this week is Saugata Chakraborty, and I have read his book, and we are going to discuss about that book in detail. Hi, Bookish Enigma. Thank you for joining. I am waiting for my guest to come to the live so I can start the episode. I'm also waiting for a few more people to join us. Hi, Saugata. Okay, my guest is here. Let me just quickly add him to the live. Just sent you the invitation. If you can accept it. If there is any issue, please let me know in the comments. Saugata, did you receive my invitation to join the live? If you have not received it, let me know in the comments. I'll send you another invitation. Okay. I am sending you the invitation again. Hi, Mayur. Thank you for joining. I sent you a fresh invitation. See if you received it now. Yes. Hi.
Sorry.
To turn the front
Yeah.
camera. Yes. Hi. Hello. So
Hi.
happy to have you here. Welcome to my show.
So I think I have revealed something.
Yeah.
I live on a
You are
suitcase.
traveling. I
I
assumed.
live out of a suitcase.
Yeah, so I assume you are traveling over the weekend, or you have just returned from traveling, maybe.
Both ways.
Okay. Interesting. Okay. So once again, welcome to the show. And before we start, I just would like you to introduce yourself to the audience.
Sure. Thank you, Manali, for having me here. I pronounce my name this way. This is the Bengali way of doing it. Shougato, but
So good.
the entire world calls me Shogata, the way you called me. I By profession, I'm a central banker, which means I work for the central bank of the country, the Reserve Bank of India, for last 19 odd years now.
Wow.
Uh,
Okay.
by education, I was an accountant. I started my life as an accountant in a government project. So there, the character of Shantilal gets his root from. And uh, in my 19 years in RBI, I have been to the remotest parts of the country. I've worked as a market intelligence officer also, in close coordination with law enforcement agencies. I have taught the police of
Wow.
5 different states,
Five.
police academy. Yeah. And right now I'm again back to my teaching altar. I talk to the bankers on human resources and leadership qualities.
Oh, lovely. A lot of people are saying hi to you. Sameer is here, Indian bookmark. He's saying, hey, dear author. We also have Megha and Nilshri and everyone joining here. Thank you, everyone, for joining.
Hi. That's Indian bookmark. I know him personally.
Yeah,
Varna
that's some.
has just joined. Yes, they're all my old friends, I would say.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Oh, lovely. Okay, so we are here today to discuss your book. Uh, Let me just show the cover to everyone before we start talking about it in detail. And I have to say, what a laughter right through and through it was, because the anecdote that you have shared, it's like so relatable. And we have seen such incidents happening. The main character, Shantilal, is like the quintessential middle class father who's always up to something. And whatever he plans, it just doesn't go the way he has thought of in his head, and it leads to hilarious circumstances and consequences, which was just very funny to read, throughout fun. So this is the book, Mostly Mundane, and I have to tell you, I was intrigued by the cover itself. It's a very quirky cover, first of all, and so looking at the cover, I was like, I have to see what this book is about, because right away I knew that this is going to be humorous. because in the cover itself we see a lot of things are going on. That's the little child here. I don't know what's going on with that frog that he's that's jumping around, and then there's a father who has the magnifying glass and he's pouring over some papers, and then there's the mother with the chai ka pyala, which is also again very quintessentially Indian.
Yeah. So the cover was designed by Jayanto Bishwas. He is right now the I would say the leading illustrator in Bengali publishing industry. He works for the Anand Bazar Patrika Group,
Yep.
and he is also now the face of the protest that is going on against. Probably you are aware of a unfortunate event what had happened in Kolkata. Yes.
Yeah.
So Joyanto's whole idea was the cover should be an animated one.
Hmm.
Everything is moving there.
Graphic, yes.
Something is happening. Yeah.
And it's come out really well. So I was after looking at the story, looking at the cover, I went ahead on Amazon and read the blurb, and then I realized yes, I was right in assuming that it's going to be a funny book. And then I started reading it, and I thought. I have to have this person on my podcast, on my show, because I have to know what went behind writing of this book and everything else. So, yeah, I reached out and you agreed, and I'm very happy that we are here today.
Nobody asked me, so no. Jokes apart, yeah, it's an absolute pleasure of being identified for my humorous side, which is usually not visible to others. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, banker and funny does not generally
gel well.
that's
Yeah,
not the
yeah,
thing that first adjective that comes to mind.
right.
Yeah, we have Parna Dasu here who is saying I had already mentioned to the author that the cover of the book is like a piece of Kalakan. You just can't put it down. Yeah. So I am going to now read out from one of my favorite chapters of the book, which is titled The Imperfect Eggplant. And I'm
Oh,
going to randomly read out from the middle of the chapter
sure.
because this is one of those anecdotes in the book which made me laugh like a mad person. And my husband was giving me, like, what are you doing? Why are you laughing at a book? So this is how it goes. Excuse me, sir. Those eggplants are for display only. A young man in the bright yellow, goodness gracious polo materialized, pointing to a bin overflowing with shiny, uniform alternatives. Shantilal felt a flicker of rebellion. Who would buy imitation eggplants? What kind of monstrous perversion is this? The young man looked genuinely taken aback, as if Shantilal had suggested cannibalism right rather than a slightly bruised vegetable. Navigating the labyrinth of aisles was akin to an archaeological expedition. He squinted at labels, deciphering ingredients list longer than a bureaucratic memo. Xanthan gum, inulin, steviol glyphosate. Were these even real foodstuffs or concocted plants planned in a secret sinister laboratory? A fellow shopper collided with his trolley. A woman adorned in enough bling to rival a chandelier. Oops, she chirped, barely glancing at him. Her own trolley overflowed with what Shantilal identified as organic, sugar-free, probiotic-enhanced breakfast cereal in a box emblazoned with cartoonish kangaroo. Madam, he dared to ask, curiosity overcoming common sense. What possible nutritional benefit can a sugar-free breakfast cereal provide that simple Dalia cannot? The woman looked at him as if he had spoken in Sanskrit. Dalia, but that's so peasant like. And with a flick of her manicured nails, she wheeled her gluten free kangaroo into the distance. So
Thank you.
I was, yeah, so please, you were saying?
Yeah, I mean, as we were reading out, I thought while writing, and till the point, till this point, I thought that I was very low on satire. But then when you read out the simile with chandelier, the bling of the lady, I got that, yes, I was very brutal about some of the aspects.
Also,
Yes.
the name of the food stuff, and then you are comparing them to something that's been brewed in a sinister laboratory. I laughed very hard at that also.
No, I have very strong feelings about tea of any
Hmm.
color other than the natural color of tea. So green, white, and blue, all kinds of trees are available. Uh, Organic things sometimes look very artificial to
Hmm.
me, at least. I
Hmm.
don't know about the whole world, but so such feelings have been reflected in the stories. Yes, yeah.
Yes. And that brings me to my first question for you, which is this character of Shantilal, and who's the protagonist of the story, and it's his life stories that we are looking at. So tell me about this character of Shantilal, who reminds me so much of so many uncles that I have had in my life around me. Even my own father has a particular characteristics from this person. So tell me about the inspiration behind this character and what went behind the characterization of this fictional character.
Shantilal takes draws inspiration from many of us.
Hmm.
Like in the open letter to the readers, I have mentioned that in my first job, I met this individual who used to say that I am Shanti Vishak and wherever I go, Shanti and Vishwas go out of the window. So that was the inspiration only behind the name of the
Hmm.
character.
Hmm.
And here is a character who, as you have mentioned, it's like your own father at a certain age, because Monty is 12 right
Hmm.
now. So Shantila would be right at the sweet spot of middle age, what we call the middle age. And he's facing the all kinds of marriage crises also
Hmm.
that come to
Hmm.
gentlemen.
Hmm.
But Shanti is one human being who is very intelligent. I'm not
Hmm.
talking about his IQ. He
Hmm.
is His emotional intelligence is at the highest order.
Yes.
That's why almost in every story he reconciles with the defeat
Hmm.
that he has faced in his life,
Yes.
and he knows how to let go. That is the biggest uh, good thing about Shanti. Yeah.
I have a follow-up question to this, related to the character only. That okay, the character is inspired, but I want to also ask you about the anecdotes that you have shared in the book. Are those inspired by your personal experiences or from any experience that you have seen around you, like any incidents?
Some of this is when I talk about anger management, the first story of the book, which is where Shanti wants to become an author
Hmm.
of motivational literature. Uh, that's a huge market out there. And he fails miserably in the attempt. That's I can identify with so many others in my uh, immediate group of ecosystem of author friends whom I have made friends over the years now, and their failure, their frustration with the writing process, how everything in the environment comes in the way when you feel determined that yes, today I'm going to write. So like that, yes. But some other incidents like flying dosa,
Yeah, another
the
favorite of mine.
okay. So the dinner that goes absolutely haywire. You have seen that in many of films also. I mean,
Hmm.
that's not something I have seen. I have not seen a food battle live ever in my life.
Hmm.
But somehow that idea was already at the back of the mind that this is one element of or a story which, without digging too much into the depth of the characters or their motivations, etc., this can incite humor. This is
Hmm.
one story. This is probably which is not having any shade of any satire anywhere. It's
Hmm.
not directed toward any community. It's only that Shantilal has an affinity towards South Indian food. In fact, Anjali is South Indian. It's a cross marriage, so that will be revealed later, maybe when we talk about Shantilal's genesis in other stories. That is yet to
Yes.
come. But without going into those things, it was a plain, simple humor,
Hmm.
where I had used something which is even overused in some other context.
Hmm.
But I have then brought about elements from other things like the Maori dance that uh, Monty breaks into in front of a, uh,
That's
uh, life
Nonchalant.
skills teacher, life skills teacher. And that Maori dance I have seen in a film called Invictus.
Hmm.
That is about Nelson Mandela's life after he became the president of South Africa.
Okay.
Very highly motivating film. And there, the New Zealand team, the rugby team, when they faced South Africa in the final, the World Cup final, they performed this Maori dance
Hmm.
to intimidate the opponent.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
I thought that, but I was not finding any other parallel to it. So I
Hmm.
brought the Maori dance from that. So it's like several experiences, not only real life experiences, but also experiences drawn from media somewhere that finds place in the book.
Okay. We have Samir here who has said the most important difference from any book is the open letter. And then he is also saying the writing style is a blend of humor and keen observation, drawing heavily from his past professional experiences.
Yeah, Samir from Indian Bookmark, that is his brand, personal brand. And he has mentioned this in his review as well as in our personal chat also he has mentioned this. And though I would agree to an extent, but it is not only my professional experience as an intelligence officer, where I got to study the criminal mind more.
Hmm.
But Shantilal is no criminal, but he encounters a criminal in one of the stories, uh, where and from then he takes up the role of a consultant for
Where
revealing scams and
we
all
get
that.
scammed. Yeah.
But apart from that, right now, I mean, being a banker and being a central banker is slightly, I would say, deficient,
Hmm.
that we don't get to interact with public too
Hmm.
much.
Hmm.
But the bank has, fortunately for me, the bank has given me such assignments where I could go to the field, where I could talk to the man or woman at the last mile.
Hmm.
So, and I tell this till date, whoever I meet, I learn something from them,
Hmm.
something good or bad, something which I can put into my characters sometimes. I take the liberty of that.
Okay. Which brings me to my second question for you. We have already mentioned that the book is really funny and humorous, but being humorous on paper is a tricky thing. You can never be sure whether something will make the reader laugh or not. It can also be taken out of context. Many things can happen.
Absolutely, yes,
So,
yes.
what do you feel works best when trying to induce laughter in someone while they are reading your work?
This is my belief again that self-deprecation is the best form of laughter, humor. I mean, where satire is a two-edged
Hmm.
sword, and not everyone loves at the satire, especially the person who feels that she or he is the object of the satire will not feel very good about it.
Yes.
So I've tried to minimize the use of satire, but still it has surfaced at some places. The second thing is I'm ruthless in my editing. Like
Hmm.
whichever part of my writing I feel that I have laughed the most, or it can create the most humorous sequence, I normally have left those out of this book.
Okay.
So if you ask me that what is my idea of inciting humor, I would have given this challenge to my beta readers that read this book, read this particular chapter, this portion, and read in front of me, like we are chatting like this on video, without laughing out loud. That is the
Okay.
challenge.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
that's a great idea.
and if that and there are prizes for that, for doing
Hmm.
that, being able to do that. If someone still goes for laughing, I think am pretty assured that it will work.
Hmm.
So I depend on wit. I depend on plain simple humor rather than on satire for most
Hmm.
part of it. And though I believe that this book is anti I mean, it's an antibody for editors. Editors, most of the editors will tell you that don't use adverbs in your text. Don't use adjectives, too much adjectives. Don't bring that in. And the book is called Mostly Mundane.
Hmm.
Starts with an
Yeah.
adverb, and in the open letter also, while it is written to the readers, it is actually an address to the editors. Those editors who felt that Mostly Mundane is beneath their dignity.
Okay.
I'm unapologetical about that. Uh, I think I could use and I draw inspiration from P.G. Woodhouse there,
Hmm.
and the adjectives and adverbs. If you can think of something totally new, then
Hmm.
adjectives still work.
Yeah.
You can create some unexpected adjectives for something which is totally not matching with the description
Hmm.
that follows. So that also can create laughter. That is
Okay.
my in my opinion. Yeah.
Wow. That was a really good answer, and I really liked your idea of having someone read it out to you to understand whether it what you're trying to convey is getting
Yes.
conveyed or not. Yeah. Great. So that brings me to the end of my questions. I leave the floor open to you now.
So if that is it, then I will, without asking about you to introduce yourself, I will introduce you to the viewers
Okay.
here
Thank you.
by reading a portion of the favorite story from Heartstrings and Harmonies. The story is called The World's Slogan, Stay Vigilant. And this starts with ये बख्त के कभी गुलाम नहीं इन्हें किसी बात का ध्यान. Uh, but I would read the last part of it. Here it talks about a couple of boys in 10th and 12th standard, Manav and Mayank. Mayank is the older brother. Manali, I mean,
I am
younger
the younger.
sister?
Yeah,
Young.
yeah. I'm the
Okay,
younger
fine.
sibling. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. So I also have a elder brother, but he is not the nerdish person that Mayank is.
Okay.
Thankfully, no.
Okay.
And I got my inspiration also from a similar thing. So I'm narrating that out. Here is a scene of an examination hall. Um, Manav, who is a student of 10th, he is appearing for his pre-board, and probably this is English. He enjoys writing free essays in English. Otherwise, he doesn't pay much attention to his studies. Soon the bell rang. I walked into the classroom and took my seat. Once all the students had settled down, we were handed the supplementary and question papers. Another bell rang, indicating we could start answering. Write up to 500 words on one of the following. 1. When I was caught in the rain without an umbrella. 2. If only I had not left it for the last moment. 3. India through my eyes. My stomach grumbled, making me realize I hadn't had a proper breakfast. If only you had woken up a bit early, if only you learned to carry a few extra ones yourself. I took out my pen, opened the supplement, and began writing. यहाँ अलग अंदाज है जैसे चीरता कोई साज है हर काम को टाला करते हैं ये सपने पाला करते हैं. I don't think everyone here understands Hindi, so I'm not going to give you the translation there. I hummed as I scribbled down my thoughts, chuckling at my own dry humor. 10 years later. So, Mr. Manav, when was the first time you realized you wanted to be an author? This was a new one. I turned toward the front row in the audience and saw my parents seated next to Maya. They held a united front in the expressions department again. This time, though, it was pride rather than exasperation. It's a funny story, actually. I was appearing for my class 10 prelims. So, is this the favorite story of yours? It has become mine because I can so relate with Manav.
Yeah, yeah. like it is one of the few stories that I in which I have used a personal life inspiration and incidents, a few of the incidents, because
Yeah,
my brother was not only academy inclined, also he was a very good at sports also, and I had
all
nothing.
rounder.
Yeah,
Okay.
sports और मेरा दूर दूर कोई नाता नहीं था. So and also my brother was very good at maths, and I almost flunked in every exam of maths. So it was very difficult for the teachers to grapple around that. And even the people who were, my brother was also very popular, like overall loved person, very popular, good at academics, good at sports, everything. So yeah, it was like a point of contention for everyone. How are you two siblings? So, yeah, it's drawn from my personal experiences, and then yeah, the incident about me becoming an author, somewhat similar of that too, because I was always good at languages as a student, even though I lagged in the technical aspects and technical subjects like science and maths. I was always excellent in languages. That much was there.
Right. So uh, I have a few questions for you if you don't
Yes,
mind.
of
I mean, that will be, I'll draw from what you have just said for the first question.
hmm.
And you also were a little emotional while narrating that, that connect,
Yeah.
even now. So after so many years, you still can. And heartstrings and harmonies, they explore the stories. They explore a range of complex
Hmm,
emotions through them, and through the lens of music.
hmm.
And those who are here and who haven't read the book so far, let me tell you
Yeah,
that I
I
will.
was just
Yeah,
going to show that.
yes,
Which
I
is
have
the
also my copy, so I can show that as
yeah.
well. Yes, that's it. So,
This is the
uh,
book that we are talking about, and I'm going to pronounce it correctly.
yeah,
Saugata?
it's fine. It's fine. You don't need to worry about that.
Yeah.
So, what I was
Saugata,
going to
just
ask,
read out one story from the book, one of the paragraphs from the book.
yeah.
Yes. Please go on.
So, could you please, could you elaborate on the process of selecting a specific song for a
Hmm.
story, or is it the other way around that you first think of the story because most of your stories are based on some prompts,
Hmm.
what we can I could have gathered from the notes. So you have a story idea first, and then you find which songs will be best suitable for this. How
Hmm.
do you go about it? And
So it
how do you ensure that the songs give the stories that emotional depth which otherwise would be very difficult to achieve in a very short space of.
so I will answer it in two parts. As for the stories and the songs, how did they come about? It was a mixed bag. For some stories, for all the 29 stories, yes, they were firstly inspired by a writing prompt that came first. They are all inspired from prompts that I received through the writing communities that I am a part of. So all 29 stories have that one point of inspiration which is common again. And the second point of commonality between all the 29 stories is that they are based around a particular Hindi song.
Right.
And how the stories came about is that once I received those prompts, and it was a mixed bag. Sometimes when the prompt came to me, the song came to me immediately. Sometimes when the prompt came to me, a story came to me, and then I had to do my own research about the song that would go with the story that I had in my mind. The latter part was obviously very difficult because I had the story in my mind and I didn't know the song, so I had to do my own research, listening to songs and sometimes also relying on Google. And as you know, Google can not always be a reliable, research partner. And some weird songs did come up when I tried to type songs based on this or songs based on inspiration or something like that.
That's another
So,
experience. If you can share it with me, I'll make it into a Shantilal story, I think.
yes.
Yeah.
So yeah, that the latter part was a little lengthier process because I knew what story I wanted, but then I had to research the song that would go with that story. And also the second bit about that research was that not only would the song have to match, but the lyrics that come in between the paragraphs, like अंतरे में जो lines आती है वो भी
हाँ.
match होनी चाहिए story के साथ. So that was also another challenge that I faced.
और
So
काफी सारे कहानियों में actually antara comes first and mukra comes later. That
yes.
like an antakshari round. Huh? People have to find out which song it is. Huh? Anyway, please, sorry.
Yeah. So after zeroing down on the songs, I had to again go through the lyrics of the songs because yes, all the songs are very dear to me, but I didn't know the lyrics of all the songs because
By heart. Huh?
yeah.
Yes.
And some of them are really old and some of them are very recent. So that was another challenge, that some of them were before my time, some of them are from now, which I have not listened to much. I did not have a chance to listen to them as much as I would have in my younger days, or maybe in my teens or 20s. So that was another challenge. I had to match the lyrics with the thoughts that I had in my mind related to the stories. The first part was very easy, where the prompt came to me and I was like, yes, I know which song I want with this prompt. For instance, the very first story that I wrote, An Intoxicating Evening, it's not the first story in the book, but that's the first story that I wrote when I began writing the book. And the
Okay.
song that went with that was Ye Sham Mastani.
Yes.
And the prompt that came to me for that was write a song inspired by your favorite song. Write a story inspired by your favorite song. And I immediately know कि मुझे
ये
यही गाने पे लिखनी
शाम
है तो
मस्तानी.
yeah, because that's one of my all-time favorites. Like anytime it comes, my mood is instantly lifted. So I knew that I have to write the story based on this song. And then I thought this song is so timeless that I have to weave a story which connects generations. And that's how the story came about. In the story, I'm talking about this particular boombox, which we don't use anymore as a
Yes.
musical device. And the current generation, this is a youngster, a teenager of today, he's coming across this particular boombox and he's asking his mother, "What is
What
this?"
is it?
And then she explains what the device is all about. And once they start to understand what the device is all about, the song plays. And then there's a whole story behind how that song came to be on that boombox. So yeah, that's how I wanted that song to connect generations. And for many of the stories, it's something like that. That the song, how is the song essential to bringing the characters together? That's what each story is about. And of course,
Yeah.
the latter part, which I mentioned, that once the prompt came to me and I had the story in my head, I didn't know what song it would be. For instance, there's another story where the prompt is that a phone call that changed your life. And
Yes.
in that the story came to me first. I knew I wanted to tell a story where these two friends are working together in their younger days, and something a tragedy happens which changes both of their
Separates.
lives. Yeah, but I didn't know what song I could use there. And then I thought, okay, maybe I can show them working together, and then one of them receives a phone call, and maybe that phone call has a ringtone, which can be the song that I want to uh, weave the story around. And that's how the story came. And I used the song Nadan Parinde from the movie Rockstar. And that was the
Right.
ringtone that rings when he receives the call from home. And then because of that phone call, what happens is the story.
Yeah. I mean, yes. Uh, I wanted to ask you this question first and later tell the audience about the book, why it was so, it rendered it pulled at my heartstrings. Really, because of the use of the songs. I mean, it's an immersive experience for me. Nowadays, there are even books in the market which uses a background music. As you open the book, the background music plays. And the best part of your book is it doesn't require such science behind it. The songs that have used are so ingrained in our memory that it starts playing at the back of the mind. And once that happens,
Yeah.
I it's like a five-star experience.
Oh, thank you. That means a lot.
Karo and Koja. So my second question for you would be that uh, your all the stories
Hmm.
are based on the broad theme of love. I mean, the entire prologue is about your definition. You have given so many different ways of looking at love, and then you have also categorized the stories under different categories of love, starting with romance, then moving on to friendship, revelation toward the end. So, uh, while writing the book, is any of the character that has resonated apart from Mana and Mayank? Apart from that, any other character which has resonated at your personal level while writing the book? That is the first part of the question.
Hmm.
And second is, uh, how did your own experiences, again, the question you had asked me, and emotions influence the development of the stories or plots
Hmm.
in Heartstrings and Harmonies?
Okay. So, the first question, besides Manav's character, there are a few more that are inspired by my personal life and the characters around me, the people that I know in my personal life. There is another anecdote that I have directly taken from my life experience, where there's the story of the two friends. That's I am forgetting the title of the story, but the song is Atrangi Yari, where I'm
Hmm.
talking about two girls who are going to the same college and they are in the same class, but they have not yet interacted with each other, and how on a particular rainy day, how they happen to cross paths, and then how their friendship develops. One of the scenes in that story is about one of them trying to catch a bus and the other one putting a hand out and pulling her inside so that she does not miss the bus. That's directly taken from my own life.
Okay.
It was not a college going experience. Well, we were just leaving from a coaching class and the bus was already there at the bus stop. We were supposed to catch it to return home. And my friend got in and the bus started moving, and then she had to pull me in. So that's a experience that's directly taken. And I thought this is a story where, that incident some can be used to, cement their friendship. So that's one incident. And then in more than a few stories, especially in the one where, I have talked about love is romance, where I have shown the couples, they are constantly at banter with each other, and that those
Yes.
all those dialogues that they exchange, that those are definitely from my own experiences, because my husband and I also have this humorous banter almost every day. And one particular story from there is about a husband and a wife. Then the husband is listening to the song and he's making fun of her. In his head he's thinking, oh my god, I'm in trouble because of the expressions that she has on her face. And I know those are the kind of thoughts that cross my husband's mind whenever I am not in a good mood, or about to have a confrontation with him. So that is also again inspired from personal life. And all the male characters, if you see in the romance stories, they have one or other characteristic traits of my husband or the men that I have
You have
in my life around me. Yes.
great. So, and I would say that it's easy to tell.
Yeah.
You are someone who is quite transparent compared to the opaque me. Uh, my personality doesn't get reflected in any of the
Okay.
characters.
Oh,
Maybe
wow.
in bits and pieces, but
Hmm.
not like this. And of course, I have a daughter. Monty is a totally different
Yeah.
individual. Uh, anyway, so uh, those were
Your
the two.
second, yeah, sorry, you had a follow-up question to that. I forgot the second part of the
Second
question.
part was like, again, like experiences and emotions.
Yeah.
Experiences you have already covered. Emotions, if you have anything to add on to your answer, like to your response.
Yeah, so the most of the characters, I think you will also agree with the fact that most writers are very observational. They notice
Yes,
the people and the chatter around them at a different level than most human beings, and
right.
it registers in their mind in a different manner. And they always think that, how can I put this somewhere in my writings?
Right. Yes, yes. It's an inventory for us. That
Yeah.
is true. It's, it's an inventory, and in our creative writing workshops, usually we start at this point that
Hmm.
some people say, "What do you write
Hmm.
about?" And we say that you write about your best and worst, your best
Yes.
birthday and worst birthday till date.
Hmm.
Why? Because both will have a story behind it. Why
Hmm.
is it the best and why is it the worst?
Yes.
Like that. So we find story elements in everything that we do, every emotion, how we emote, and that also gets reflected. That's yes,
Yeah.
absolutely,
Exactly.
absolutely brilliant observation there. So that's as far as my questions for today, because we have already I've spoken so much that we are
No, I
already in the
don't
40th
mind at
minute.
all because you are one of the few authors whose book have made me laugh in the past year. So I enjoy talking to authors who make us laugh.
Great.
Honestly.
Yeah.
So yes, that brings us to my favorite part of the show, which is the rapid fire round. So how we'll
Oh,
go is the back and forth. I will ask you one question, and then you can ask me one question. Okay.
okay. Yeah.
The first question that I have for you: can you name at least three chapters from the book and tell us what they are about, without referring to the table of contents?
Oh, absolutely. Anger management is the first story. It's easy, where again Shantilal aspires to be an author, and he tries to write a treatise on how to manage your anger, manage your emotions, and is faced with so many obstacles in the process that he finally loses it, loses his cool. And there, I think that is the best story from my point of view, because here we see the pacifying ability of Anjali, the wife.
Hmm, hmm,
Otherwise, Anjali is, except for one more story, the uh, influencer of probabilities, Anjali doesn't have a major role to play.
hmm,
But in both the stories, and otherwise, in Pluto, the second story I was going to
hmm,
talk about, Pluto is where Shantilal gets demoted in his past job, and he now gets a position to assistant to deputy manager.
hmm,
So corporates have cruel ways to play these words out. And in search of some motivation, he visits a bookstore, goes to the section where motivational literature is stacked, and there again he starts reading a book on negotiation strategies, where Anjali appears out of nowhere and says,
hmm,
Now you have learned how to negotiate. So let us continue this dialogue.
hmm.
How long you have to continue the dishwashing post dinner?" So that brings Anjali is a very sharp, intelligent woman
Yeah.
also,
Yeah.
and very few observations from her. But wherever those are, the stories are my favorite.
Okay.
So
Okay.
that's not a compliment to my wife who is absent right now, but uh, some others can still report to it. But still, um, yes, she is the stabilizer in the relationship,
Yes,
so
definitely.
to say,
Yeah.
and she gives that support. The third story that I would recollect is about Monty, the young entrepreneur, the parent teacher meeting. And why it is my favorite is this is the exact emotions that we go through in those meetings. I mean, internally we are having a different dialogue going on, uh, but we have to listen to whatever the teacher has to say. And
Okay.
so
Lovely. Your turn.
this, one song that makes you emotional.
Okay. Out of the 29 from the book?
No, any one song
Uh,
maybe which you have not written.
I think one song that always makes me emotional. Off the top of my head, I can think of this song from Rang De Basanti, Luka Chupi, where he the singer is addressing the mother,
Yes.
and it's a very emotional scene in the movie itself. But otherwise, also if you listen to the lyrics, it's beautiful. यहाँ सब कुछ है माँ फिर भी तुम नहीं हो. So that those are lines are very beautiful. So
Yes.
yeah,
So as an author, the lyrics are more important to you than the melody.
yes,
I mean,
definitely.
that's a spin-off
Yeah, yeah,
question. That's not a
yes,
part of the
yes, yes,
rap.
definitely.
Yes, your turn.
Okay. My second question to you is one or more experiences or the characteristics from your life as a banker that have helped you become a better writer, especially when it comes to this book.
This book or any other book that I have so far written are, appreciated because of the detailed observation about the characters
Hmm.
who are there. And that is due to my experience majorly in the bank, even before that, my professional experience.
Hmm.
Uh, Wherever I went, I always watched for some visual cues from the others, from the
Hmm.
counterpart, and those really help in creating these characters, which suddenly looks like very real life inflation blood they're standing in front of you.
Okay, lovely. So, yes, your turn.
Yeah. So if your book is made into a movie, but it cannot be made into one movie, uh, but your favorite story from the book, if it is made into a movie, whom would you like to be the actors playing the lead roles?
Oh, that's a tough one. I think one of the most visually appealing stories that I find in the book is the one about a boy and a girl, and they are at this Valley of Flowers. And uh,
Yes.
yeah, so I think that would look very beautiful on screen. That's
Right.
particularly why I would
Which
like.
Valley of Flower, by the way? Is it Kas?
नहीं, India वाला ही.
In India also there are quite a few now.
Is it? I
Yes.
only know of one, and I have referred to that only.
Acha, okay. Hemkund Sahib.
हाँ,
Yeah.
okay. हाँ, yeah, so I think that would be a very visually appealing story on screen. That's why I would pick that. And for the characters who would play that part, I think recently I've watched Rajkumar Rao in a lot of comedy roles,
Yeah.
and he pulls it off very well. So I think Rajkumar Rao and the actor could be Shraddha Kapoor. Yeah, they make a good pair.
Yeah.
So
Good choices. Yeah. Your turn.
okay. My next question is online or offline? What do you think works better for writers or their book promotions and why?
Uh, Both. While answering the question regarding humor, I have
Hmm.
not mentioned one thing that you have to be mindful of your audience.
Hmm.
Like while writing humor, who is your target audience?
Hmm.
How they're going to react to the humor that you are attempting.
Hmm.
Because the same kind of humor cannot address a baby boomer, a millennial, or a Gen Z. This book is primarily targeted at millennials
Millennials.
because it is people who are approaching their midlife crisis, who are already sandwiched between the two generations,
Yes.
and they feel this kind of a crisis.
Hmm.
So while I depend a lot on offline,
Hmm.
where I am present, where
Okay.
I can interact with the audience in person. That
Okay.
works wonders with a book promotion because uh, once they get to know my motivation behind the book,
Hmm.
they also get to relate with the book more. That way, the real connect builds up.
Okay.
At the same time, because 70%, almost 60 to 70% of my book sales are on Amazon, not
Hmm.
any other platform, but only Amazon. So there, I have to depend on a lot of online
Hmm.
promotion as well,
Hmm.
which comes in the form of reviews. Unfortunately, at the risk of attracting some wrath from the bookstagrammer community, most of the reviews these days are AI generated. That
Oh, yeah.
is very heavy. That
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
very heavy. So the amount of effort that we put in the into writing the book, when I get to read such reviews, it pains as an
Yeah.
author. Yeah. But it works also at some other level to attract some more few more eyeballs. Yes.
Yeah, as Samir is also saying that both have to complement each other. Yeah, it has to be mix of both online and offline. I also feel that.
Right.
Okay, your question.
Yes. Uh, what is the one book that you wish you would have written? Now you have 9 books to your credit, but one book which you absolutely love and which you feel you could have written.
I mean, I don't feel I could have written. I feel that because I like the two things so much and am deeply connected to the things in my life. I'm a cricket fan. I love watching cricket, and I also love the author so much. I really enjoy reading her work. So I think I would have liked the Zoya Factor to have been my book. I mean, because it connects. It has humor, which I also try and bring in my books, and it has cricket and it has romance. The three things that I generally
The
like
connect at
in life. Or
different
yeah,
levels altogether. Yeah. Zoef factor. Okay. Great. Yeah. Your question.
okay. Yeah. My question to you is the chapter that made you laugh the most while writing it, and why?
That's a tricky question. When I write, I'm usually not laughing because
Okay.
uh, laughter, happiness is a very strong
Hmm.
emotion. When it takes over your brain, your mind map, then you cannot write. So, yes, I am my serious best while writing mostly mundane. I enjoy reading out it afterwards, maybe.
Okay.
And that way, if I have to ask, if I have to pick up one particular story, I guess it would be the Flying Ghost again. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. It is indeed one of the funniest chapters. So yeah. Okay. Your turn.
Yes. So, what is the strangest place you have ever found
Inspiration.
inspiration for a story?
Oh wow. There have been weird ones, but off the top of my head, I would say while traveling actually. The most weirdest ideas have come to me when I'm trying to relax and an idea hits my head and I have to like immediately start writing it, otherwise the idea will be out of my mind. So yeah, the times when I'm relaxing or traveling and I'm with family and consciously away from work, when that happens, I find it the weirdest.
Right. I mean, it's uh, it's an escape from work, but your
Yeah.
writer self
Yeah.
brings you back to
The creativity plug doesn't go off at all,
no,
right? Yeah.
keeps you awake. Yeah.
Okay, we have storyteller Huda here who's saying loved your book and just posted the review. I think
Yeah. Thank
she's
you.
talking about
Thank
your
you.
book.
I have seen the review. I think on Goodreads. Uh,
Yeah.
so and she has been quite honest about the fact that she didn't like the entire book. I mean, few stories that happens that
Yeah.
is expected because not all the 19 stories can make everyone happy.
Hmm.
So
I
you
can I
have
can
to
get
find
into that.
your basis of happiness somewhere there. Yeah,
Yeah, I can totally relate to that. I have also had people who said that out of all the 29 stories, I think I only enjoyed 15 or 20. Not all of them were good. So I
that's
said,
a brilliant strike rate. I'm not very sure about mine. I mean, 20 out of 29 is a brilliant strike rate. Yeah.
okay, my last question to you. Can we expect a similar book about your experiences as a banker?
Well, there is a book already.
Okay.
It's called The Insider Account. Issue here is I don't recall whether I have withdrawn it from circulation altogether.
Hmm.
The paperback was withdrawn a couple of years back, but the Kindle is supposed to be very alive. It
Okay.
draws on, it is the insider account, life in and beyond RBI. So it talks about those incidents experienced as a central banker and beyond also, 12
Okay.
such incidents, which were the inspiration behind the stories of my first book, They Go to Sleep.
Oh, lovely.
So that is already there. but further book is not possible. I have started writing a series also in Bengali,
Hmm.
drawn on the experiences as a banker. But I had to stop it somewhere because there are some professional, I mean, commitments. Our
Okay.
code of ethics doesn't allow
Okay.
me to write on certain aspects. That
Hmm.
I'll be able to write only when I superannuate from the bank.
Okay. Samir here is mentioning in a review a negative has to be mentioned. And he is also mentioning that I make it a point that I talk about the negative aspects of the
No,
book. Yes, that's true.
absolutely, yeah. The review has to be balanced
Yeah.
one. Uh, a, a review which doesn't talk about negative aspects, which only utilizes, I mean, praises you, is not a review.
Hmm.
It's something else. It's flattery.
Yeah. True. Okay, that brings me to the end of my questions. I think you have one more question left.
Yes. The fifth one, uh, the biggest challenge that you have faced in bringing your stories to life.
I think the I you will also agree with me. I suppose. I think the bigger challenge is the selling of the writing or making your writing reach a wider audience. That's the bigger challenge after you have you know finished writing the book that or whatever content that you have created. Your job does not end there. Generally, that is the perception among the non-writers that लिख लिया अब क्या हो गया accomplishment हो गया, but that writing also has to reach the audience, no? That's the one thing that I find the most challenging in my क्योंकि because when I started as a writer I was also of the belief कि लिख लिया अब तो पहुंच ही जाएगी लोगों तक, my job ends here.
Ah, I mean, usually uh, that is where we start,
Yeah.
where we all start. It's,
Yeah,
so,
so our job doesn't end just there. We have to promote the book, keep talking about the book, write newer content so that people stay, interested in what you are saying and writing.
and there I must thank you because of thinking of this author collaborative. It's in India. I know a couple of other authors who are doing such things, but it's very at a very nascent stage. In the
Yeah.
US, I believe that it's a very huge thing. Even co-authorship is it's a very big thing there. So we can emulate some of those practices here also in India.
Yeah.
And when we have reviewers like Samir or Madam Huda along with us, the journey is going to be good,
Yeah.
going to be great.
It
Yeah.
becomes a smooth sailing
Smooth
comparatively.
sailing, yeah, no smooth sailing, and it's a learning. Constantly, we are learning as
Yeah.
authors.
The reviewers
So
like them also help us to grow as writers. So
yes, yes,
that's
absolutely,
also
absolutely.
important. Yeah. So, yeah, that brings us to the end of today's episode. Thank you once again. I'm going to continue pronouncing Saugata because you have said it's okay. So,
Yeah, you are, you have the freedom, you have the liberty to pronounce it
thank
as
you so much. That's very gracious of you. Thank you for coming to the show. I had a lovely time. And thank you for sharing your experiences of a writer and also of your life as a banker. I hope we can do this again. Can you tell us about any of your projects, upcoming projects, writing related?
Yes, the next manuscript is already under consideration of quite a few publication
Wow,
houses.
lovely.
That's what my literary agent Suhail Mathur of the Book Bakers tell me, and I trust Suhail a lot because he got me the Red Grab deal to publish Mostly London. When I was very apprehensive about Mostly London, I didn't want a humor book to be published just before the next one. It's a
Hmm.
historical fiction. Longer grew the shadow. The
Okay.
idea is it's 100 years of 1921 to 2021. Starts with a pandemic, the
Hmm.
influenza pandemic,
Hmm.
and ends with the COVID
COVID
pandemic. And
pandemic.
whatever in this 100 years, a family of four brothers and one sister,
Hmm.
they endure uh, the
Okay.
experience. So, couple of the World War One was there, then
Hmm.
the Indo-China War was also there, the famine of 1943, which had hit
Mhm.
Bengal at
And
that
then
point in
again,
time,
Second World War.
and the biggest event of all,
Mm.
the partition of India.
Mm.
So that is on the way.
This is going to be very interesting to read. When can we expect the book to be out?
No, because it's now still at the very preliminary stage. Like
Mm.
none of the publishers have so far confirmed.
Okay.
So they have shown initial interest, and they are going through the entire manuscript.
Mm.
Uh, I don't expect the book to come out before April 2025. That is the
Okay.
earliest that we are looking at.
Okay.
If it doesn't happen, then it will be probably released around Independence Day to
Okay.
2025.
So for 2025, it's happening.
Yeah.
Okay.
What,
So we are
what
doing
about
this
you?
again next year. I'm blocking you. The reason I'm asking is that I have to invite you again. So
Sure. It would be my pleasure again to be here. But what is your plan as an author?
Currently, for the past few years, my goal has been to write and publish at least two books a year. So book number two is yet to be out for this year. So that's going to
Okay.
be out by 2024 ending. And in
Cool.
2025, the third novel of my ongoing series will be out. I have written two novels and it's a three-part series. And the third book of that series will be out in 2025.
Right. Great. So we look forward to that. And when the book comes out, please,
Definitely.
I'll get to know anyhow, but still, ping me and tell
Definitely,
me that book is out.
I'll reach out and we should do this again. I had a
Sure.
great conversation.
Yeah.
I look
And
forward
when
to
you
hosting you
come to
again.
India, then we probably with Nilshri and you, and we can sit
Yes,
together and have
yes.
longer
So yes,
conversation. Yeah.
you are also based in Pune currently.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Right.
Okay. Yes. So I do intend to and manifest on meeting Nilshri next time that I'm here. So whenever that happens, we would love to have you also with us.
Thank you.
Yeah. Have a great weekend and thank you once again. Bye.
Bye.